A good win. Appreciate the fans that came out, and a lot of stuff we got to get better at, of course. But a team that I thought we did a pretty good job preparing for. Our guys had respect for this opponent, with them having accomplished what they did the other night, forcing overtime at Georgia Tech, had a chance to win that game. They run good stuff, bring a lot of physicality, have bigs that can score on the interior. Have a pick and pop big. They hit a 3 against us, of course. Hit 3 the other night. And I thought our guys did a pretty good job with 1 day prep. Both teams had 1 day prep, but I thought our guys handled it with maturity. The biggest positive from the game for us is the fact that we started off shooting the basketball so poorly. I mean, we just couldn't get one to go, and that's for another conversation. But the fact that we kept flying around and forcing turnovers and applying pressure and just playing really hard with shots not going in is a pretty good sign. So we'll continue to reference that moving forward. Day off tomorrow, and looking forward to that next day's practice, 2-day prep for Morehead State.
All right, questions?
You mentioned the defense. What has impressed you through 2 games about how you guys have played on that end and how big it was for you guys to win? I mean, the shooting issues tonight, you still win by 65. I mean, how big the defense was?
Yeah, we've got speed, we've got switchability. We just fit right in with our league. I mean, I don't know how elite our defense will be. We've got a ways to go, but it's the best defensive league in the country, and we looked like a potentially very good defense, of course, these last couple games. Got a defensive rebound a lot better. They still had 7, 8, 10, 12, who knows, we'll look at the film closely. Really good looks off of stuff we've got to get better at. It's something we'll continue to talk about. Our physical exertion is really high with us, with our offensive tempo and our defensive extension. And we've got to get better at fighting through that mentally, and our communication's got to be sharper, louder, more clear, earlier. Had some miscues there. And just also understanding when we're changing some things up, just all being on the same page with as many guys as we're playing, as much as we're subbing. But the physical effort is that's something we can hang our hat on for sure.
Coach, when do you obviously the shooting, the 3-point shooting, like when do you worry about that, and what do you think is contributing to the poor shooting from
Yeah. I've got confidence that we shoot it better than that. We just do. I mean, 8 of 40. We shoot it better than that in practice. We go against each other, and we practice at a pretty high level of intensity, as do most teams at our level. It's what's needed to get better, of course. And with our depth, you can imagine that there's a healthy level of intense competition in our practices, and we shoot it better. I think it has more to do with pressing a little bit with the ball in our hands, playing fast. It's early season. We're playing in front of our fans. They're real games now, and guys trying to establish themselves as opposed to us establishing ourselves, and taking our shot. Something you guys have heard me say for a few years. In the second half, I thought we did a better job of taking our shot, and it went in more, of course. But there's still some really good looks. Smurf comes to mind. Smurf really shoots the ball well. But he's taking good ones. I'm going to be super aggressive. He actually passed up a couple that I wish he would have attempted, but I'm not worried about it. We shoot better than that for sure.
On that note, how much of the 3-point shooting early comes into that mental game when you start off slow?
I think our guys will be fine, especially the way they fired it early on. We took some C shots, again, where I thought we were pressing. We took 3 or 4 in the first half where we had, whether to my right or to my left, would have been an A shot with an extra. We've got to make those passes. We've got to take the shot that the defense dictates, and that's going to take some time. We're also huffing and puffing with what we're doing defensively. It's a little bit different, and some of these guys, really most of these guys, hadn't played this style, and we'll see. This is obviously a mid-major opponent, and obviously an opponent that we have respect for, but. We've got to get better and continue to clean some stuff up with the switching and with the pressing and with the rotating if we're going to be equally as effective against high major teams.
About halfway through that first half, Cannon had like 7 points in about 2 minutes. Just what it is about him that allows him to get in those rhythms and what that provides you guys.
He's really talented. I mean, that's where it starts. Cannon is 6'9", shoots it as easily as anyone that I've coached with a really quick high release off the catch, off the bounce. And he's an underrated playmaker. You know, he made a great pass in transition, which might have led to our first or second three made, if I'm not mistaken, off the bounce. You know, he's got the ability to bust out when he gets defensive rebounds and lead the break. He's really skilled, and he's trying to complement that with improving his motor, playing a little bit harder, and applying pressure defensively, getting on the defensive glass, getting in the offensive glass. Thought he did a pretty good job today. We've got to get him in a stance consistently and get him to stretch himself in those other areas. But with that ball in his hands, he's very talented.
Just the way that Jake kind of just energizes the whole place whenever he's going over some of these dunks, and not just the fans, but you look at your players too. They really kind of gets them going. He gets in that kind of little zone.
Yeah. I don't know how many times that we'll have 1-on-0 fast breaks, you know, or 2-on-0, 3-on-0 fast breaks, 2-on-1s. We had some good numbers off a lot of turnovers that we forced when we're playing teams, you know, at our level. You'd hope that we'd fall into some of those dunks, but Jake's, I've said this pretty consistently, his attention to detail, his basketball IQ, his respect for work, for taking coaching from staff and teammates has been really impressive. In his motor, he plays hard. He plays with joy. He enjoys competing and getting better, and he's going to continue to do so.
Ending the game on a 23-0 run, how promising was it to see that defensive success late, even though you did make some substitutions?
That's what you want to see. Those last couple media timeouts, as you've been doing it for a long time, like I have, said it a couple 100 times probably. Like, guys, we've got to, whether it's as an assistant coach or head coach, let's finish the right way. Let's not worry about the scoreboard. Let's get better. And those guys embrace that. Everyone that played with that sizable lead in the second half played pretty hard, and that's what it's got to be for us to continue to grow.
Coach, obviously, back to Jake. After that, I think it was the first dunk, he was able to get back on defense and make a block. You know, seeing stuff like that from a freshman, what does that do for the other guys on the bench that, you know, these guys will celebrate and stuff after these dunks and then not get back, but he was able to do that. When you show that in film, what kind of impact does that have on some of these other guys?
Sure, we show winning plays, and we'll show winning plays in a couple of days after we come back after tomorrow, and that'll be one that we show for sure. It just shows maturity. It shows I've been there before, you know, and I plan on doing it again. Next play mentality. He comes to mind in that regard. Blue comes to mind in that regard. Justin Bailey's been really refreshing with his approach to work and playing as hard as he plays. Smurf Millender, you know, Dylan James, I thought, really affected the game, impacted the game with his intensity level. And those guys didn't start, you know, so that it speaks to your depth there. I thought we got off to a better start, too, with our starters tonight than we have to this point, especially defensively.
What did you think of how the team handled the quick turnaround from Monday and then looking to Sunday? What are some of the things you want to focus on?
Well, we did almost nothing physically yesterday. I thought we played really hard the other day, and we wanted to make sure that we could match that intensity, especially with a team, again, that we thought would be really prepared, and they were. I thought our mental approach was pretty sharp. Could be a little bit better, but for a team that's just getting together with a bunch of new guys, we're not overly experienced, but we're more experienced than last season. I thought we handled pretty well with some maturity. Today we're pretty sharp too at shooting around. But after a day off, it allows us to really get after it physically in a couple days, and then that following day we'll play by ear to see where we're at from a physical standpoint. But excited to tip it up again in here in a few days and see if we can keep getting better.
Got time for one more question. All good? All right. Thank you.